attraction. I'm about to get mean. I'm about to get loud. Spotlight on me when I take my bow. You're gonna pay full price if you want front row. I got a Hollywood star. I got my name in stone. Are you ready for the show? I sit back and listen. I'm gonna blow your mind. I am a superstar, and I do have come this far. You better make way. Get off my stage. Lights, camera, action. I'm the main attraction. I'm the main attraction. You're gonna feel your heartbeat when it starts to rush. One look, leave your jaw wide open, 'cause I'm illustrious. Are you ready for the show? I sit back and listen. I'm gonna blow your mind. I am a superstar, and I do have come this far. You better make way. Get off my stage. Lights, camera, action. I'm the main attraction. I'm the main attraction. I am a superstar, and I do have come this far. You better make way, get off my stage, camera, action. I'm the main attraction. I'm the main attraction.
Come on.
It's got to be 12 o'clock, right? So that means it's beer time.
Gather around, people, but that little sideshow about the dinosaurs here.
This is one hell of a roll cage.
Come 9,000 miles to wreck each other.
Now, I don't have hobo stab insurance. Funny idea at first that somehow we're sitting here in Australia with a couple of wrecked race cars, drinking beer and laughing about it.
Like this?
Are they edible? I think I f***ed up.
Why do you think car counts are down across the board? This notable driver, who's very accomplished, says too many big shows back to back to back. It costs me $200 minimum a night to run one of my race cars. The King of the Hill has never had less than 100 factory stocks at that event in its 10-year history. Can Dalton Faulkner finally win the King of the Hill? He showed that he's had the fastest car, but he has not had the fastest car on the 50-lap main event on Saturday night.
I-37 Speedway has gone out on a limb, a Wednesday night race, and I've been scratching this. I love it.
Drag race to the line!
I don't know if I've ever had that much fun in a race car ever.
30 times so far, and I think this is my third or fourth race of the year.
During that race, I'm glad I had some asphalt experience. That's kind of what we had to do back then, get in there and kind of root them off the bottom.
You know, when you race long enough, you kind of tell when you got a good hot rod, and I knew we were pretty good.
My uncle, he just got a new car, and Jeremy, he raced his first night last weekend at Manny, and I think he's going to Super Beat tomorrow night.
The Northwest Racing Series. The playoffs roll along. We welcome you to coverage on this, of course, Monday night. Penultimate race in round number 1. And these drivers, of course, we'll see who will be joining Jeff Stapnow. If a playoff driver can pull it off. If not, can somebody else pull in here and get the upset? We're at virtual Sim City, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, location 1, where we are tonight. And we're ready to see what these guys can do here this evening. I'm Wesley Outland. Jeremy Stanley is AWOL right now, nowhere to be found. Charles Wooten on the production, pushing the buttons. He might jump in and join me on commentary, maybe. There you see some of these drivers, I think we're still qualifying now, trying to put down the best lap here on the racetrack. We're seeing Dan West Jr. right now, showing being the fast man. 29.902 seconds around the racetrack here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Thanks for you and yours joining us, not only on iRacing on LSRTV, but also on the Community Radio Network. Coming off of that football game broadcast we had earlier tonight. There you see William Fletcher, Navy colors on the number 28 machine. Teal green, black, and yellow. Toyota working his way around the racetrack. Correction, he's in a Ford. And not going to lie to you, car counts or truck counts are low tonight here at Las Vegas. I think we got less than 15 here tonight. Maybe over 15 trucks, 17 it looks like, 17 entries. As right now we watch these guys working and qualifying. Right now the end to bump is going to be Tyler King. Tyler King just went to the top of the board in the Ford number 21, 29.900 for that number 21 machine. Dan West Jr. is second, Chris Kynes third. Roy Grande and now Brett Johnson just cracked the top 5. He just got bumped by William Fletcher again. Here's Sean Brightsman. Team LSRTV, Bright's Boutique, number 46. The man originally out of Puyallup, Washington, now residing in Tucson, Arizona. And where will Brightsman end up? He's up to the top 5 in the 4th position on the clock. Kevin Smith on track now. got himself a runner-up or a podium finish last week at round number 1, Chicagoland. Winner last week was Jeff Stabnow. Jeff Stabnow picked up his second win of the season after winning Daytona earlier in the year to start the season. And let's see where Kevin Smith will end up on the scoring pylon. The 00 for Win Racing, and he is 7th on the board. So far, 12 trucks have taken time. And here comes the man that is carrying the momentum already in the next round. No matter what happens tonight, he is going into the next round of the championship playoffs. Don't forget, we're at Rockingham next Monday night. Rockingham Speedway to close out round number 1 of the play, or to close out the first round of the playoffs. And here comes the Billings, Montana driver. Proud to have the Eagle on the side of that 24 LSRTV 4K Ford. Jeff Stabnow on the clock. See if they can bump Tyler King off of the pole. Still got a couple more trucks ready to take time, including Troy Daggett, Carl Burke, and Scott Hutchinson. Jeff Stabnow, let's see where he ends up. Put it in victory lane last week. As my producer said in my ear, the man number 1 in the playoffs right now. Jeff Stabnow, where will he end up on lap 1? 14th. He goes nowhere. He's got to find speed. Troy Daggett up to 11th on his first lap. Jeff Stabnow got to find speed and in a hurry. 35.99 the time he turned to the 24. Time for the pole, 29.900. Here comes Stabnow below the apron. Quicker lap. Is he there? Move him into the top 5. He is 4th quick. 29.967. He found speed there on that second lap. Went from 14th on the grid to now 4th in that LSRTV number 24 Ford. Looks like we've got a couple of drivers that are yet to qualify. One is Carl Burke. The other one is Scott Hutchinson, who has not took time yet. Carl Burke in the 53 Chevrolet, Scott Hutchinson in the 91 Ford. 16 entries here. Tyler King put down the fast lap. Tyler King in that 21 machine, 29.900. Former champion back in 2022 when he won the Northwest Truck Series Championship when it used to run on a Thursday night. And so Tyler King, Dan West Jr. on the front row. Looks like the clock should expire. Hey, real quickly, let's take a look at the race analysis for tonight's event presented by Race On. Your race information, bottom left of the monitor. There it is. 200 miles, 134 laps, 3 attempts at overtime if need be. 100% fuel and 4 sets of tires. That's the original set on the trucks when they take the green, plus 3 more in the pit area. And remember, this year, no fast repair in this series. That's presented by Race On. Watch live or watch on the replay. Here's a look at the Kaufman Creative weather conditions. Mostly cloudy, sun out right now. Air temp of 71, wind speed at 6 miles an hour. Track temp at 73. And it is closing in on 3 o'clock 3 o'clock Pacific. So basically that would be 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, because they are on West Coast time. Here's a look at the point standings. As we mentioned, Jeff Stabnow, winner last week at Chicagoland, puts himself into the next round of the playoffs after tonight. And my apologies, it wasn't Chicagoland, it was Milwaukee Mile. Yeah, I'm sorry, Milwaukee Mile. Milwaukee Mile is where we were. Las Vegas tonight, who's checking in 201. And then next week will be the Cheese Grater 140 for Rockingham Speedway. A lot of momentum going into the Rock as the Rockingham Speedway announced that NASCAR will be returning, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. I'm sorry, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and the NASCAR Xfinity Series will be racing at the Rock for the first time since, 2012, 2013 for the Truck Series. The last time the Xfinity Series was there was obviously in 2004 when the NASCAR Busch Series was the sponsor, as well as the Cup. And if you remember the Cup Series, the last time the Cup Series raced was the Pop Secret Popcorn 400, and it was Cambridge, Wisconsin driver Matt Kenseth who went on to win that race. So, well, we're getting ready to go racing. Las Vegas, I think we could step away real quickly. The countdown clock should be expired, and we'll have the lineup when we come back from Sim City. This is the playoffs for the Northwest Racing Series, iRacing on LSRTV and CRN.
Hi, welcome to Day Motorsports. Come on, check out what we got.
Thank you for keeping Day Motorsports in business for over 50 years.
The field is gridded behind the iRacing pace car. And without further ado, let's take a look at the lineup for tonight's Who's Checking In 201 for 200 miles tonight here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Starting lineup on the front row. As we mentioned, Tyler King, who put down quick time. He is the man that'll lead him to the flag. To the outside, Dan West Jr., two-time back-to-back series champion of the truck. Row 2, Paul Newton, the road course king, and winner last week at Milwaukee Mile and Daytona, Jeff Stabnow. He knows he's going in to the next round, regardless of tonight. Brett Johnson, he's been good in weeks of late, the number 7. And Christopher White in truck number 23 to the outside in row 3. Row 4, we'll find Sean Breitzman, the driver, of course, a former series champion in Cup, and Kevin Smith, the 00, the boss of Win Racing, from Walla Walla, Washington, to the 00, row number 4. Row 5, we'll find Chris Kine in truck number 88, followed by Roy Grande. Had a good solid finish last week as well in that Taco Bell machine, row 5. Top 10. Row 6, we'll find William Fletcher, the Navy colors of that 28 Ford. Troy Dag, another good solid run for him as well in weeks of late to the 99. Row 7, we'll find Brian Barnes in the Popsicle number 4, former Northwest Cup Series champion. And Dana Rogers flanked to his outside of the 07. Final row, we'll find Robert Gamble in truck number 54. Scott Hutchinson right there alongside. And your final starter will be Carl Burke. And I'm understanding, I don't think the Waccamaw, Washington driver of Carl Burke answered the call. So there's the lineup as we get ready to go playoff racing here tonight at virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 200 miles, 134 laps. Lap 67 will be the halfway mark of the race. Remember, this series runs straight up. There's no stage breaks. There's no stages. We don't have a very big field of trucks tonight, but we got the best of the best ready to go. 16 strong. Ready to see what they can do. Any of these guys on the track right now have got a legitimate shot to win here at virtual Las Vegas. Pace car onto the pit lane. Here comes the field to the line. Green flag in the air. We're underway here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Drivers highlighted in yellow are playoff drivers. Whole shot goes to Tyler King. He brings him down the Nellis straightaway to the back stretch into 3. Newton right there on the inside, so is West. Side by side, Stab now in the mix as well. They come below the apron, come to the line, lap 1 on the board. To give the opening lap for this race to, again, Tyler King. King and Newton right there alongside one another. Thanks for all of y'all joining us tonight, listening, watching. Quiet start to the race so far. Quickly up in front, King. There's Dan West Jr. under attack. Here comes Newton on the bottom. Jeff Stabdown tries to hook up with his wingman. Little contact, side swipe there between Newton and Stabdown. Side draft contact made. Up the hill goes Stabdown. He's up to 3rd. Newton now falls back to 4th, maybe 5th, as there comes Smith on the inside. All this racing going on here in the early going. Got him working the back straightaway right now. Lap number 6 of 134. Drivers on the back straightaway. Look at Grande, Breitzman, that's for 8th and 9th. Going at it beside one another. On the racetrack, good racing going on there. Look at Daggett watching on. So is also Chris Kynes. Kynes in the 88 machine. Everybody just in single file here in the early going. And honestly, that's probably the best thing we need to see right now is everybody just get in line, ride and drive. We're watching them work their way through 3 and 4. West, Stabdown, Smith, King, White, top 5, single file. Back to the apron, bottom of the racetrack. Here we go again into the corner. West and Stabdown. Now 1 and 2. That's Team LSRTV. Win Racing back to third with Smith, King, and White, top 5. Everyone all single file. That conveyor belt works their way in the corner to the back straightaway. Look at Stabnow right there on the inside. Jeff Stabnow looking for his 3rd win of the year. He won last week at Milwaukee Mile. He's right there with his teammate Dan West Jr. And flanked behind them is the Win Racing boss in the 00 Click It RV Chevrolet. That is Kevin Smith. Look at now, all this action taking place. There you see now Johnson and Grande going at it for 7th and 8th. 7 and 7 right now, 7 spot, P7. The 11 machine in the P8 spot. That's Johnson, Grande. Everybody single file down the back straightaway. Right back into the corner again. Look at this now, battle heating up. As we continue to follow this going on. That's Dan West Jr. Jeff Stabnow, Kevin Smith, all in the corner, single file. As there you see Stabnow, he's a teammate. He is a teammate to Dan West Jr. Dan West Jr. needed a win to move into the next round of the playoffs. And you know, we've heard the conversation before about the Team LSRTV drivers that, okay, if I get in and I have somebody else that's got a shot to get in, I'm going to help them. For Team LSRTV, those drivers, including in addition, is right now the 88 Chris Kynes, unscheduled pit stop, the 88 on pit road here. Chevrolet number 88 taking on new tires. We mentioned Team LSRTV and where they are in the points. Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, Brett Johnson, Sean Breitzman. 4 drivers of 5 in the playoffs on the track. Dan West Jr. continuing to be the man up in that front spot right now. Jeff Stabnow holding on, stays on that inside. Another lap on the board. Dan West Jr. Dan West Jr. continuing to stay in that spot. Look at this battle now. There's Chris White. Chris White, 23 truck on the inside, battling down with Kevin Smith for third. King is right there. So is Newton. 3, 4 trucks now as Grande gets in the battle as well. All this going on here. Dan West Jr. Stab now up in that second spot. Behind them, look at this flurry of activity. Led by the third place man, Kevin Smith. And a thunderous herd of trucks virtually trying to pile in here. Trying to get through and take that podium spot right now. Still a long way to go in this race here. Already 20 laps gone. As Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, those are your drivers up in front right now. More pit stops going on. We saw Kynes come in. Chris Kynes is actually now retired from the race. He is out, first man out of the race. Another solid run, working off the corner. With Dan West Jr. still being the man up in front, everybody single file. Look at Grande getting impatient, trying to go to the outside lane and try to hook up with the 7 of Johnson. So does Reitzman reel him in. That is 7th, 8th, and 9th on the racetrack. Chris White up high, way up high, the 23. And here comes Johnson on the inside. Here comes Grande and Reitzman now to try to follow on the apron. Still a long way to go in this one. We're at Virtual Sim City, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Right now, it is, of course, the driver leading of Dan West Jr. Question is for how long, though? As Jeff Stabnow showing his momentum. He's up there in that second spot, right there in tow with the leader, separated by nearly half a second. Close it down to a tenth of a second, 0.2 of a second now. Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow trying to separate them up one by one and pulling away from everybody else as well. Tyler King the third. He holds on to that spot too. Almost a side draft. Here comes Newton. Paul Newton battling Kevin Smith. This is for third. Give the 27 on the inside, the third spot. The Paul Newton Designs entry. Ford trying to now hold him off. He falls back to fifth. Kevin Smith back to fourth as Tyler King stormed by and got the third position. as they work their way again to the Nellis straightaway. By the way, if you didn't know, Nellis straightaway is what they call it, the backstretch. The Nellis straightaway. It is adjacent, true story. It is adjacent to the Nellis Air Force Base, which is literally adjacent to the backstretch at Las Vegas by about 100, 200 yards away. The Nellis Air Force Base, very widely popular in the Pacific West Coast. Chris White up high, battles alongside. There goes Newton on the bottom. Laps continue to tick away here. Working lap number 30 next time by. This race quickly on a fast pace. And that works out perfect for these guys watching on. Already approaching over 100 laps to go now. This is the Northwest Racing Series Truck Playoffs. Race number 2 in the opening round. Remember, as we mentioned, we race next week at Rockingham, and then we take off for a week. Take off on October the 21st. The points are reset, and 16 drivers will become, obviously here in the round of 12, the round of 8. Remember Phoenix, Charlotte, Kentucky, first round of the playoffs. That was the round of 16. 4 drivers got eliminated. Dan West Jr., Devin West, Tyler King went on to win races. Last week, we opened up round number 1, the second round of the playoffs with the opening race in the round of 12 at Milwaukee Mile. And Jeff Stabnow dominated that race. I mean, talk about utter domination. From green to checkered, led almost all the laps, with the exception of pit lane. From the pole, went on to win. Next week we go to Rockingham. And it's a perfect name for that race. They're calling it the Cheese Grater 140. And that track is abusive on tires. That'll definitely be a turner, no doubt, for the race when it's all said and done next week. Right now, rolling the dice, spinning the lottery wheel is Dan West Jr. He is the man leading the way. Jeff Stabnow second. Tyler King is third. Kevin Smith, Christopher White, your top 5. As they work their way back to the corner again with under 100 laps to go. This race flying by as fast as it got started. We're seeing exactly just how good the driver is. And that number 55, Dan West Jr. Jeff Stabnow right there with him as we continue to watch Breitzman, Johnson, Grande. This is 8th, 9th, and 7th, 8th, and 9th on the racetrack. 3 corners of the racetrack is being used by the leaders on the track now. You've got trucks all the way from the start-finish line all the way to turn 2. With the exception of Chris Kynes going behind the wall, 16 seconds separate the leader to the last truck in the back. We mentioned, obviously, Vegas tonight, Rockingham next week, remember. Then we move into the round of 8. We know Jeff Stabnow is automatically going to the round of 8. That's the semifinal round. As we see William Fletcher on pit road. Fletcher, the 28 machine, on pit road to the attention of his crew. Lap number 38, we're seeing pit stops here. I figured around 40, 45, maybe 50 laps is pushing it. We're seeing guys come down pit road here. We had an early pit stop with Chris Kynes. He's out of the race, though, in the 88 machine. As, whoa, Kevin Smith dirt tracks off turn 4. From the right rear contact to Paul Newton. And they're still sideways going at it again in the turn 1. Sean Brightsman way up high. Still racing on. Still holding it together was Kevin Smith as he lost the spot. And he bonsais now off the 46. Smith into Brightsman, or vice versa. Brightsman lost momentum. Got to get back running again here. And look at Kevin Smith now. Kevin Smith's truck way really loose. Tires have got to be gone on that number 00. We're at the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of network identification. This is iRacing on LSRTV and CRN, the Community Radio Network from Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Come on.
It's got to be 12 o'clock, right? So that means it's beer time.
Gather round, people, but that little sideshow about the dinosaurs here.
This is one hell of a roll cage.
Come 9,000 miles to wreck each other.
Now, I don't have Hobo Stab insurance. Funny idea at first that somehow we're sitting here in Australia with a couple of wrecked race cars, drinking beer and laughing about it.
Like this?
Are they edible?
I think I f***ed up.
We're back here at, of course, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Still a long way to go in this race. Actually, to be honest with you, it's kind of flying by faster than I thought. And the reason why is because there has been no problems on the racetrack, and we're now seeing green flag pit stops continuing now to circulate. Dan West Jr. gives up the lead. He comes on pit road. As I told you, between 45 and 50, I think it was going to be a busy place on pit lane. Here they come. Dan West Jr. to the attention of his crew. A lot of these drivers taking on tires and fuel, obviously. Put Brett Johnson now as the new leader up in front. Johnson now giving up the lead. He comes down pit road, joins Dana Rogers and others. Rogers, Smith, Gamble on pit road. Oh boy, Brett Johnson overshot his pit stall. That's going to take about a second or two away because of pitting on pit road. Here comes Brightsman and Grande right there, side by side onto the pit lane. They're 1 and 2 on the racetrack. And I believe whenever they pit, everybody will have pitted at least one time, and that's exactly what they're doing. Tyler King is on pit road again. Roy Grande, Scott Hutchinson, they're all in. So when these drivers get caught back up with the leader, it will be Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, Paul Newton, 1, 2, and 3 on the racetrack. Just the way it started when the cycle of pit stops began a moment ago. See everybody single file around the racetrack. We're closing in on 50 laps next time by here on this race. And there it is. Working lap number 50 of 134. Halfway in about 17 minutes. And we've only been racing for 27 minutes. Halfway in 17 laps, I meant to say. We've only been racing for 27 minutes so far in this event. This race on a blistering pace. And you've already saw that first cycle of pit stops taking place as drivers came in on pit road, 4 tires and fuel. Many of them did. Happy with what they've got right now. Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow. That's the way it is right now, 1 and 2. Into that spot, followed by Chris White the third, single file. Everyone right now, 7 drivers of the top 12 in the playoff spot right now. We started off with 16. 7 of 12 are right now on the racetrack. Only 9 of the 12 drivers in the playoffs showed up this evening. So we're missing at least 3 others that did not run the race. As right now, here you see Stabnow running down Dan West Jr. Couple of Team LSRTV hot shoes on the track. Going at it now in truck number 24 and 55. You know, I'm a stat guy. Keep up with all the excitement every year for the Northwest Racing Series in my 5th year. As lead anchor tonight is Jeff Stabnow's 450th career start. He is the all-time start leader of everyone else. He has the most starts of anyone. Second back is Sean Brightsman tonight, 416 for him. Dan West Jr., by the way, approaching 300 tonight is start number 299. Rockingham next week will be 300. Dan West Jr. up in front. 299 career start, as I mentioned, 48 career wins, looking for win 49 tonight. 159 top fives and 225 top 10 finishes currently in Dan West Jr. Having a little visit with Ink and Blink and Nod again. Dan West Jr. looking high, looking low, going to the inside. Here comes Stabnow. Stabnow trying to make a move on the bottom. Nothing there, nothing clearing him as they work the back straightaway. Down that Nellis straightaway they go. Into the corner. Stabnow looking below the bottom of the apron of the racetrack off 4. Thought he had a run as they work into the dog leg. Into the tri-oval. This time he stays behind the back end of the tailgate of the 55. And Dan West Jr. is blinking. Jeff Stabnow trying it out, find the way to get around the 55, but not be in the way of the 55 in case he blinks out and he gets net code and crashes. We are closing in on the halfway mark of this race here. It has flew by. Drop of the green flag less than 30 minutes ago. And we're already closing in on halfway in less than 10 laps. This race is on a blistering pace as we're approaching 100 miles into it. Stabnow inside. Makes that run. By the way, if you're thinking of pit telemetry, I think they can make this as a 2-stop race if we stay at this pace with no caution. Right now, yellow flags have not failed. It was around lap 45 to 50 when we saw green flag pit stops. 46 to 40, 45 to 48 to be exact, for the front runners. So roughly between lap number 90 and 95 is when you're going to start to see in the next 30, 35 laps the money stop. Because I really believe unless we get a caution here, this is going to be a 2 pit stop race, a 2 pit stop sequence. So if that happens, basically between 90 and 95, they will come down pit road for the money stop of the event. That's now Daggett and Barnes battling for 7th and 8th. Single file on the racetrack. Nobody is jumping out of line here as they stay in their position. (62 of 134 laps. Halfway coming up. Back to the leaders up front as we're halfway. And continuing to just watch them work their way to the back straightaway. Solid run for these guys. There you see Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow. Dan West Jr. hitting his marks. Jeff Stabnow right there in second. Hindsight, Jeff Stabnow wants to win the race, obviously, right? But with that being said, we've heard this time and time again. If I can help out my teammates, if I can help out my fellow man, I will. I want to get our LSRTV trucks into the playoffs, into the postseason, as far as they can go. And right now, they're 1 and 2. Chris White, by the way, good solid run for him. He's a playoff driver. Let's show him real quickly. He's in third, but he's 3 seconds back to these leaders. On the racetrack, there he is, popping into view off of turn 2. You see the interval there between 1 and 2 and third. 3, now make it 4 seconds almost as we're closing in on halfway next time by. About to be 100 miles out of the way here in just 35 minutes. 35 minutes they have ran 100 miles here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. They work into 3 and 4 off the Nellis straightaway. Lap traffic up ahead for your leader of West Jr. and Stapdown. Here they come, thundering to the tri-oval, through the line. Below the apron, and cross flags will go in the air. We're halfway home. 67 down, 67 to go. Dan West Jr. the leader, Jeff Stapdown second. Christopher White third, Paul Newton fourth, and Roy Grande Jr. is in the top 5. Brett Johnson sixth. Troy Daggett 7th, Brian Barnes 8th, Rob Campbell Jr. 9th, Kevin Smith in the top 10. William Fletcher just goes a lap down by the leaders. Back into the corner. Scott Hutchinson 11th, Dana Rogers 12th. Last truck on the lead lap. William Fletcher just went a lap down, he's 13th. He beat the free pass truck. Tyler King as well, who looked good earlier. Got busted with a penalty and got stuck a lap down. Sean Breitzman, 2 laps down. Chris Kynes, 52 laps down out of the race. And Carl Berg did not start. Let's take a look at the Virginia811.com race summary for the first 100 miles of this race. It's presented by Virginia811.com, reminding you to dig with care. Call before you dig. No cautions. Obviously, no caution laps accrued. And there has been 4 lead changes. Those lead changes fluctuated whenever they were making those green flag pit stops on the racetrack at the first round of pit stops between lap number 45 and 48. As I mentioned, somewhere between lap 90 and 95, lap 90 and 100, I'll just be that bluntly, okay? Sometime between lap 90 and 100, you will see the money stop coming for these drivers. On a torrid pace right now. 37 minutes, now making 38 minutes into it. And the second half of this 200-miler for the playoffs rolls on for the Northwest. Brian Barnes on the bottom of the apron, former Northwest Cup Series champion. And we see Fletcher now already lapped down, coming to the pit lane, the Navy number 28 Ford. Daggett inside. There you see that 7th place machine, One Fine Studios 99. As Daggett right now, all 7 drivers of the playoffs right there in the top 7. Other number 12. Where he got busted with a penalty, I believe, on pit road. Closing in on lap number 75. We'll take another break to thank our sponsors. If something happens, we'll break in. This is iRacing on LSRTV and CRN, the playoffs for the Northwest Racing Series from virtual Las Vegas.
Drag race to the line.
Why do you think car counts are down across the board? This notable driver was very accomplished, says too many big shows back to back to back. It costs me $200 minimum a night to run one of my race cars. The King of the Hill has never had less than 100 factory starts in that event in its 10-year history. Can Dalton Faulkner finally win the King of the Hill? He showed that he's had the fastest car, but he has not had the fastest car on the 50-lap main event on Saturday night.
I-37 Speedway has gone out on a limb. A Wednesday night race. I've been scratching this. I love it.
I don't know if I've ever had that much fun in a race car ever.
30 times so far, and I think this is my third or fourth race of the year.
During that race, I'm glad I had some asphalt experience. That's kind of what we had to do back then. Get in there and kind of root them off the bottom.
You know, when you race long enough, you kind of tell when you got a good hot rod, and I knew we were pretty good.
My uncle, he just got a new car, Jeremy. He raced his first night last weekend at Manny, and I think he's going to Super Beat tomorrow night.
Come on.
It's got to be 12 o'clock, right? So that means it's beer time.
Get around, people, but I like a sideshow about the dinosaur here.
This is one hell of a rotator.
Come 9,000 miles to wreck each other.
Now, I don't have Hobo 7 insurance. Funny idea at first that somehow we're sitting here in Australia with a couple of wrecked race cars, drinking beer and laughing about it.
Like this?
Are they edible?
Man,
Approaching lap number 80 here at virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Welcome back to our coverage of the playoffs. The Northwest Racing Series trucks. This is the round of 12, round 2, race 2. We already know that Jeff Sapnow, who's in that number 24 machine, is right there behind Dan West Jr. has moved his way into the round of 8. Does he try to win the race, or does he help his fellow man, Dan West Jr., find yet another win on the year and punch his ticket into the postseason for the semifinals? Remember, after tonight, they race again for the final round of the round of 12 next Monday night at Rockingham Speedway. Then we reset, we take off a week on October the 21st. We come back at the end of October. We run for another 3 weeks. That, of course, will be the semifinal round, the round of 8, including Dover Motor Speedway, Texas Motor Speedway, and Auto Club Speedway. The winner of those races or by virtue of points, the top 4 best will battle for the championship on mid-November, November 18th, right before Thanksgiving, to close out season 11. I'm Wesley Outlet. I'm solo tonight. Charles Wooten on production. Jeremy Stanley nowhere to be found. And this has been not fairly, it's hashtag fake news. It has been a very quiet race. There has been literally no yellow flags tonight. Racing has had a couple of intense moments battling for position, but it quickly fizzled out. And now we watch Dan West Jr. work his way back into the corner. He starts to open up that lead over Jeff Stabnow, and he's blinking again. Dan West Jr. having connection issues. If he gets booted out, remember, if he has 2 consecutive laps of having net code issues popping in and out, the Northwest Racing Series officials will tell him, you got to fix it. If you do not, you will get booted from the server. And obviously he does not want that to happen. We've seen that happen a couple of times now, where the West family, whether it be Devin West, his son, defending series champion, winner back in the round of 16 also. Devin West not here tonight also. He won in Charlotte. Matter of fact, it was the Dan West Jr. at Pocono, Devin West in Charlotte, and Tyler King at Kentucky. Opening round of 12 last week at Milwaukee Mile saw Jeff Stabnow win. And then we see now tonight in Vegas, Dan West Jr. up in front. Jeff Stabnow second, and pit road's going to be open. Any time now, we're going to see the takers come in for the money stop. Remember, we mentioned between lap number 46 and 50 is when they pitted the last time. 46, 47, 48. Some even pitted on lap number 45. Here they come. Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, lap number 90 on pit road. Exactly 45 laps from earlier. And this will be the money stop of the race. Christopher White will now cycle back around as the new leader. As Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, they're on pit road. Drivers on clutch and throttle perfectly exiting the racetrack. Now here's the deal. Basically, it was around a 45-lap green flag run both times. Here comes now Kevin Smith on pit road. Lap 89, Jeff Stabnow, Dan West Jr. on pit road. Here comes the other ones. Robert Campbell Jr. now in. Dana Rogers in. Christopher White now giving up the lead. He'll come to pit road, and that Chris White, or the CWhitemedia.com entry. His Chevrolet to the attention of his crew. And now Paul Newton being shown as a new leader. So we're closing in on over 40 laps to go. Here comes Johnson now on pit road. Brett Johnson to the pit lane. Johnson is in, Newton in, Grande in, Taco Bell Tuesday tomorrow. Actually, technically today on the East Coast. And the Taco Bell 11 having a good solid run tonight for Grande. He's up to third, but he just pitted. So pit stops going on in flux. So with now over 40 laps to go, it'll officially be 40 laps to go when they come back to the line here in a few more circuits. All these drivers, for the most part, I think, can go to the finish of this race if we do not have any cautions. Now, if we do have cautions in the latter stages of this race, this might possibly open up the scenario of having drivers come down to the pit lane for that third and final set. But for the most part, they can go the distance. The leaders can go to the end here. And once again, for the second time in sequence, you've got Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow as the leaders, and they are trying to lap Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith battling back on the inside to stay on the lead lap on the tail end, the 00. That's Dan West Jr. in the 55. There's Jeff Stabnow in hot pursuit. And they're going after the Walla Walla, Washington driver, the boss of Win Racing. Many times this year, it has come down to Win Racing and Team LSRTV. Week in, week out, battling. Only fitting that this continues on in the championship hunt. Look at Smith, methodically trying to scamper away from these top two fast men from Team LSRTV. The Win Racing leader in the 00 Chevrolet. Working now under 40 laps to go. Kevin Smith tonight, start number 214. For the driver out of Walla Walla, Washington, of the 00 entry Chevrolet. He has 9 wins in his career, 44 top 5s, 89 top 10s. Look at Kevin Smith trying so hard to stay right there on the tail end of the lead lap. There's now Jeff Stabnow in the crosshairs and the leader, Dan West Jr., their teammates. Working lap number 99 next time by, and 35 laps to go. There's Stabnow one more time down to the inside. Hey, by the way, as we close in on the completion of lap 100 and the money stops for pit stops, we think as well. Let's take a look again at the Virginia811.com race summary, presented by Virginia811.com, reminding you to dig with care. Call before you dig, and there it is. Last time we showed it to you, around halfway, it was 0 cautions, 0 caution laps. That's still the same. Lead changes has now gone up to 7, and that is because we had another 3 lead changes made by drivers who came down to the pit lane. And as we move into the home stretch of this one, with 34 laps to go, setting up for another battle between Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, and their adversary nemesis all season long. Kevin Smith hangs in the balance of being a lap down. That, by the way, that race summary at lap 100, presented by Virginia811.com, reminding you to dig with care. Let's take a look at the Kaufman Creative weather conditions. We started this race with mostly cloudy skies, and I'll be honest with you, It hasn't changed any. We're about an hour in sim time. 54 minutes to be exact. Approaching 4 o'clock Pacific. Stabdow starting to lose some ground on Dan West Jr. He is still right there in the crosshairs, but he has lost that front battle to the rear end of the truck that he had earlier on the 55. He was right up on the tailgate. Now he's fell back about a half a truck length. And now there's more lap traffic up ahead. Tyler King in the way. Tyler King in the way, along with Jeff Stabdow. And Dan West Jr. trying to get around Kevin Smith. Now Tyler King up in that battle as well. They're on the tail end of the lead lap trying to stay. Tyler King already 4 laps down. He had a good run going for him. He was in the podium. He came down pit road in the first sequence of pit stops and he got busted with a penalty. And he never recovered from it. No crashes, no cautions. Racing has been exciting on some occasions. Other times it's been simply ride and drive. Approaching an hour in this event, 56 minutes to be exact, as they cross the line for lap number 106 of 134. Coming to the end of it now. 27 laps to go, 28 to go. And they came back to the line a moment ago, 28 remaining. We know these drivers can go the distance. We know they can race their way to the finish. Dan West Jr. getting impatient now, trying to get around Smith. Finally cleared him on the bottom. Smith way up high. Here comes Stabdow, licking his chops, ready to go for that spot on the inside as well. Can't clear him yet. He's trying. Can't tell him it's not a lack of effort. He's just not able to get around him just yet. Closing in. Lap number 110 when they come to the line next time by this race. Approaching 25 laps to go. We're going to take you to our final commercial break. We're going to go side by side. You're not going to miss any of the action presented by Race On. When we come back, I'll take you to the checkered flag in the playoffs from Las Vegas as we see Sean Breitzman multiple laps down, now on pit road. Back with more in the finish next.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
Why do you think car counts are down across the board? This notable driver, who's very accomplished, says too many big shows back to back to back. It costs me $200 minimum a night to run one of my race cars. The King of the Hill has never had less than 100 factory stops at that event. It's 10-year history. Can Dalton Faulkner finally win the King of the Hill? He showed that he's had the fastest car, but he has not had the fastest car on the 50-lap main event on Saturday night.
I-37 Speedway has gone out on a limb, a Wednesday night race. I've been scratching this. I love it.
Hi, welcome to Day Motorsports. Come on, check out what we got.
Thank you for keeping Day Motorsports in business for over 50 years.
Hey, welcome back, and we're 20 laps to go. Ready to bring this one to the finish. Welcome back to our coverage. I'm Wesley Outland. We got, of course, Charles Wooten on production. This race has been caution-free. It has been Dan West Jr. and Jeff Stabnow back and forth. Maybe a couple of stragglers taking the lead during green flag pit stops. We know that these drivers can go to the finish if we don't see a late race caution. If we do, there's a possibility that they would have to immediately come down the pit lane because they can't go the regular distance. Maybe one attempted at overtime if it happened. But for right now, these drivers looking good. And right now, Dan West Jr. looking to want to join his partner, Jeff Stabnow, who won last week at Milwaukee Mile. Dan West Jr. won in the first round of the playoffs. Remember? He won, of course, at Phoenix Raceway. Carry that momentum from winning at Talladega, the final race of the regular season. Dan West Jr. won that race, and then he turned around and won the opening race of the playoffs in the round of 16. His son Devin won the following week at Charlotte, the defending series champion, not here tonight. Tyler King went on to win Kentucky. And now, last week, opening race in the round of 12, Jeff Stabnow from the pole went on to win. And we're trying to see a little bit of history repeating as now Dan West to the semifinals of the round of 8 with his cohort behind him of Jeff Stabnow. And we've heard this story several times. Hey, I want to win the race. I'm not going to lie to you. I want to win. But the bigger picture at the end of the spectrum is to get my teammates into the championship playoffs to the next round. Obviously, when you're in playoff mode. And then they can have it out amongst themselves. Could we see a little battle here at the end? Is Jeff Stabnow playing possum? Pardon the pun, he's got the bald eagle on the side of the American truck of the black and primer colored team LSRTV number 24. Will Jeff Stabnow be able to spread his wings and soar to a win again for back-to-back over Dan West Jr.? Closing in on the finish. It's now 15 to go, 14 to go, 13 to go at the line. Laps have just flew by in a race that already has only been underway for an hour and 4 minutes. This could be possibly one of the fastest races on record for Team LSRTV, and the pace that they're setting as well as the history of the Northwest Racing Series. There have been caution-free races before, not saying that there haven't, but this event is on a blistering fast pace. A baker's dozen just become a dozen laps to go. 12 remaining. There's Newton, there's Grande, that's 4th and 5th. What a solid run, by the way, for Chris White. He's in 3rd. There's the leaders. 11 circuits remaining. Do the math. What a battle it's been this year. It's always been a battle, it seems, between Team LSRTV and Win Racing on this night, and it seems like so far for this playoff drive, with the exception of Kevin Smith being on the podium last week at the end of the race at Milwaukee Mile, Team LSRTV has showed their momentum. Down to 10 circuits remaining, 10 revolutions around virtual Las Vegas here in Sim City. Dan West Jr. continuing to hit his marks now, opening up a lead over his teammate Jeff Stabnow. Almost 3/4 of a second, 7/10 now, and 9 to go. We're in single digits here. Drivers with the yellow on the scoring ticker are drivers that are in the playoffs. Add the 24, Jeff Stabnow, to the round of 8 semifinal. He's advanced. He's now almost 8/10 back to his teammate Dan West Jr. Jeff Stabnow fading. You see the interval. He's lost ground to the leader of Dan West Jr. Stabnow is falling off. Dan West Jr. is still staying consistent. By the way, fastest truck of the race so far, fastest lap of the race tonight, Tyler King in 14th, 4 laps down, 30.050 seconds. 30.050 seconds. That's the fastest lap of the race set by the man now in 14th. 4 laps down to Tyler King. And meanwhile, we go back to the end of this one. Sim time, 1 hour and 8 minutes now. 7, now making 6 laps to go as they thunder now out of turn number 4. Through the tri-oval, down to the start-finish line. Dan West Jr., 9/10 of a second now, back is Stabnow, and he's losing ground. I think Jeff Stabnow just wants to hold on to second. By the way, he can, because if you look at the scoring interval, Chris White in 3rd is over 7.5 seconds back to Jeff Stabnow. Coast from here if you want to. Open hand from your flagman. 5 laps to go here in Sim City. Picking him up and putting him down lap after lap after lap. Tracked him now at close to 74 degrees. It stayed that way all night long. Cloudy skies and now 70 degrees outside. And ready to bring this one to the finish. Less than 3 miles remain. 4 laps to go here at Las Vegas for Dan West Jr. Simply just staying in his line, holding his position. Dan West Jr. came into tonight's race as the number 9 seed. he would have been below the cut line. I just want to be honest here. He would have been below the cut line. With this win, he will bump up and make the playoffs to the semifinal round of 8. Drivers not here tonight. By the way, the other 3 I mentioned included Dennis Moore, Ryan Bloom, and Devin West. Those drivers were absent, and they have put themselves in a bad quicksand moment. 3 miles, penultimate lap of the race, on track now for DWJ. The double nickel from Shelton, Washington. 2-time series champion in the past. He did it back in 2021 and 2020. Dan West Jr. works his way off of turn number 4. He'll see the 1 to go, presented by CRN. We've got football, soccer, and volleyball this week. 3 nights of football, including tonight, on more Thursday and Friday. All the details at wearecrn.com. But back to the mission at hand. Dan West Jr. down the Nellis straightaway one more time. He will join his other comrade who won last week at the Milwaukee Mile. Jeff Stabnow has now pushed in Dan West Jr. to the semifinal round of 8 as he dominates in Vegas. In a race that lasted 1 hour, 11 minutes and 20 seconds, 200 miles, 134 laps, flag to flag, caution free. Dan West Jr. wins here at Sim City. And let the celebration begin for the Shelton, Washington driver. It looked like fall off happened between Jeff Stabnow to Dan West Jr. at the end, but he still gets second spot. Nothing wrong with silver. Christopher White with a podium. It's going to be good to hear his voice again. We haven't chatted with him in a while. And as Dan West Jr. burns it down, coming up, you know what we do. You know how it is, how we celebrate in the Northwest. It's the iRacing high five salute, and Jeff Stabnow with a kill shot on the double nickel to first put in the blow. Johnson teammate hits him, airborne from the contact with Daggett as he got up in the air. West did. Our virtual Northwest Demolition Derby send-off. As boy, oh boy, crashing all over the place. Sean Brightsman with another hit on the 55, damaging trucks and all. Brian Barnes coming in, congratulating Dan West Jr. Dan West Jr. winning again here tonight, by the way. If I'm looking at the information correctly, Dan West Jr. will now pick up his, let's see here. Dan West Jr. will pick up his 4th win this year as well. 2nd in the playoffs. Here's a look at the results. Dan West Jr. the winner. Jeff Stabnow 2nd. Christopher White 3rd. Paul Newton and Roy Grande the top 5. Johnson, another solid run for him. Troy Daggett, Brian Barnes, Robert Gamble. First truck a lap down, the 54 in 9th. And Kevin Smith in 10th. Rest of the field includes Dana Rogers, William Fletcher, multiple laps down, including Sean Brightsman, Tyler King, Scott Hutchinson, Chris Kynes, first retiree of the race. And Carl Burke did not start the event tonight here at Las Vegas. Take a look real quickly at the race summary presented by Virginia811.com. There it is. Kind of a stalemate there at the end of that. Last time we looked at it at lap 100. 0-0 of importance. No cautions tonight. And 7 lead changes here tonight at Las Vegas. when it is all said and done. Coming up, we'll grab the podium. Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, Chris White, and we set the stage for Rockingham next Monday. This is the Northwest Racing Series playoffs. iRacing on LSRTV and CRN. Jeff Stabnow now has Dan West Jr., his teammate, joined him. To the round of 8 they go. In a race that lasted 1 hour and 12 minutes, 30 seconds, checkered flag from start to finish from the field, crossing the line. It is Dan West Jr. picking up the win. Welcome to our post-race wrap-up. He picks up his 4th win of the year, and looking stat-wise now, going to the round of 8, joining his teammate Jeff Stabnow. In addition to that, career win number 49. Dan West Jr., congratulations, man. What a dominating night for you. Wow.
Thanks, Wesley. We had a really good truck. Jeff secretly worked Saturday on a setup without us, and I think he nailed it. So appreciate everything he does for us, because as you know, with these trucks, if it wasn't for the setup, there's only so much you can do. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Man, 49th career win, obviously status quo. And in addition to that, for you, out of your career start number 300 next week at Rockingham Speedway. And how's it feel knowing that whatever goes on at a track that's tough on trucks and tires to boot, whatever goes on, you and Stabnow are in the final semifinal round of 8. What does that mean to you?
It means that we can go have fun. That's what Jeff and I were just talking about. That's a tough track, right? I mean,
yes,
but it's a very fun track. We've raced there, I don't know, 4 years ago, I think it was, and it likes tires for sure. But if you can get a rhythm going, it can be a lot of fun. So the idea of already advancing, obviously takes all that pressure off. So now, like I say, we can just go there and have some fun.
Yeah, it's been a while since the trucks ran at Rockingham Speedway. I want to say it was back during the COVID era of 2020, maybe 2021 with the ARCA program. The last time I think we've called a race on LSRTV from the Rockingham Speedway. But, yeah, man, well, listen, Dan, congratulations. But I really don't know what else to ask you. I mean, obviously a phenomenal job. You and Stabnow racing caution-free. Well, I mean, obviously, we don't see that a lot in the Northwest Series. Good run tonight here by these guys.
Thank you. Yeah, I would hope it'd be caution-free. We didn't have a lot of trucks. I mean, this is a fairly easy track to drive, so we were kind of banking on that, no caution.
Right.
So, yes, the race played into our hands, and Jeff did everything he could to help me basically stay out front. So, and I appreciate, basically this win goes to Stabnow, so I appreciate him a ton. Thank you very much.
Got your sponsors? Go ahead, buddy.
LSRTV, of course. Appreciate you guys up there in the booth. It's fun to go back and watch the race. Effective Web Solutions, Northwest Racing Series, and all my teammates. Thank you very much.
There you go. That's, of course, the Shelton, Washington driver, Dan West Jr. He won in the round of 16 to advance to the round of 12, and he wins here tonight to move into the semifinals with Jeff Stabnow. And, of course, that was career win number 49 in start number 299. Rockingham next week will be race number 300 in his career of the Northwest. By the way, he also has 160 top fives and 226 top tens after tonight. That's Dan West Jr. getting it done here at Las Vegas. Jeff Stabnow, winner last week at Milwaukee Mile, runner-up to teammate Dan West Jr. tonight, and big kudos to him on a milestone. This was career start number 450 for Jeff Stabnow. Jeff, nothing wrong with silver, and I know at the end of the night you want to help your teammate move into the next round, and I think that's what we saw happen.
Well, I didn't have anything for him there. That maybe early in the runs I had a little bit for him, but at the end of the runs, just in that dirty air there, I was just using up a little bit more tire, and I think you see him driving away from me at the end of every field run there, about those last 10 laps or so. Certainly our plan was to stay grouped up because you're a lot faster in the draft here than you're not. We were worried about getting spread out. I think
sure.
After both pit stops, he had to lift a little bit to let me catch back up. So if it would have been a race between the two of us, he'd have probably had me by about 3 seconds. But no, heck of a job by Dan, and heck of a race. I think we had a great set. It was a team effort. We had Dan was out there all week with me, and Brett too, and we were out there putting laps on. Devin was out there for a bit, John. So just a great team win for Dan, and a great team second place for me. So,
but to add that though, Jeff, I mean, you've said before with all of your guys, I think Brett Johnson's the next man that hopefully that you can help, and Sean Brightsman as well. If we can get all of our teammates into the playoffs to the next round, if I can't win it, second best is going to be to try to help them.
Yeah, absolutely. If I got a shot to win, I'm taking it. But just like that, right, we wanted to make sure that we stayed grouped up, so we had that extra draft speed all night long. And I think you saw that every time pit cycle came out. Guys were coming out of the pit solo, and we were grouping up, and we'd gain a couple seconds on the rest of the pack. So, it was just like that team strategy. I was whichever one was up front tonight, I was going to work to get them in. If I had a chance to win, I would. Just didn't work out that way tonight, but I'm happy with how it ended.
Well, Jeff, I'll tell you what, man, start number 450 in your career. Did you even realize that tonight was that number? And what's it mean for you to have the momentum, it seems like, for Team LSRTV, your team overall, going into now the semifinals after next week at Rockingham?
Hey, I think we're peaking at the right time. We kind of got it going here going into the playoffs. I hope we can keep the momentum going. It's not for lack of work. We're putting a lot of work in this year.
Sure.
Here at the end of the year, getting in the playoffs, putting a lot of laps in, trying to get the trucks right, and it's paying off. So means the world to have us rolling like we are. And I think we got, 5 more races to keep it going?
That's right. Buddy, before I let you go, thank your sponsors.
All right, big shout out to you guys there at LSRTV, man. You and Charles were the best. Bar none. Love the broadcast, love watching it, love the quality, love the commentary. Wesley, we're so fortunate to have both of you guys cover our league. And big shout out to all the folks down there listening on your radio station, CRN. I know that you're probably not in the western North Carolina area, but our heart still goes out to everybody that's down there.
And better get ready for Florida too, man. I don't know if you saw it or not, but the Hurricane Milton's hit, and it's going to be a Category 5 hurricane in Florida. So that's horrible.
Yeah, I watch it pretty closely. Got family down there, so watching that closely and just praying for the best there on that one.
Yeah, definitely. Category 5. If you ever remember the movie Twister, somebody said, has anybody ever seen a F5? And the guy said it's the finger of God. And a Category 5 is the finger of God. It's catastrophic. So, hopefully I saw pictures and videos where people are packing up and loading up whatever they can of whatever belongings they have and trying to get up the interstate and come back up north. So our thoughts and prayers with everybody for sure. And, Jeff, we'll see you next week for Rockingham. I know, Dan said, it's just going to be a fun race to watch you guys see what you can do. Second place tonight for the driver to Billings, Montana. Career start number 450 of his career tonight. All-time list of all starters. 42 wins, 177 top 5s, 285 top 10s now. That's Jeff Stabnow. Third place, Christopher White. Chris, been a while since I talked to you, man. Changed your number, had a good run, and you had a good finish, 3rd place. Oh, and by the way, you were on the bubble for the round of 8. If the race ended today by points, you would make it in, but you're right now in 8th. You're taking tonight here at Vegas, sir, 3rd place.
Yeah, certainly good to get a podium and get back up here and be able to talk to you guys. It sure has been a while. Las Vegas is typically a good track for me to come to and run. Usually run well as long as I can keep it straight, keep the fenders on it and all. Solid truck, fast truck. Certainly didn't have anything whatsoever for the 24 or the 55. I think the green flag racing, no cautions, not having that chance to regroup and bunch up again, it just allowed things to with the green flag pit stops and all to get stretched out a little too much. I think I was back about 7 seconds or so a little too much there, but very happy with the 3rd place podium finish. Certainly in the right direction for sure.
Could we say, Chris, you needed a caution flag, or you wanted a caution flag, no doubt, to try to get back in there and make some noise if you could to the front leaders?
Well, I mean, if it came down to it, a caution flag is what I would have needed to even have a chance.
Gotcha.
But I'm kind of glad, in the end that a caution didn't throw, because a 3rd place is better than something else going wrong and not getting a podium finish in the end. So, I mean, I'll take the 3rd place finish. We definitely needed it after last week's run. I think outside the top 10 in Milwaukee, that was not a good way to start this round.
Right.
So coming out of here with the 3rd is good. Now we got to focus on Rockingham moving forward. That'll be an interesting race, I'm sure.
Hey, Chris, got to ask you this question, man. What made you decide to change up your truck and your designs on the decals and obviously the wrap job and your number? Now truck number 23. Where did that come about, Chris?
I honestly don't really think I have a solid answer for that. I'm just, sometimes I get superstitious. Sometimes things just don't seem to be going right, and I just got to seek change in some ways. And
Gotcha.
And I'm constant. I think I'm one of a few that might change paint schemes quite often.
Yeah.
But as far as numbers go, I saw that the 23 became available, and I was like, well, not really having much luck in the 56. Let's
or the 83. You were at 83 at one time too. Yeah.
Yeah. The 83. That'll the 83. I think I've been the 00 before, the 35. I've been a few numbers and done well with all of them. In fact, I've won races in the series here, whether it was Xfinity Cup or trucks, in all of them except for the 56. So I'm trying to see what I can do with this 23 and try to get that in victory lane. The 83 will be forever 83. That's the number that I won the Cup Series championship in.
That's right.
That's a good number for me.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, listen, final question. Segue this into thanking your sponsors. You're in the cutoff spot. You're in the number 8 position right now. The points just tallied. What's it going to take to survive Rockingham next week and put yourself in the semifinals?
Well, it's going to take a lot. The focus obviously is on Rockingham. I haven't ran on that track in quite some time, and I'm looking at the points currently, as you said, sitting in 8th place. Today's run was good. I needed it, but sitting on the bubble, I'm nowhere near safe. And it looks like outside from 3rd place on to me is dang near 6-7 point difference. So I think anybody has a shot, and it's just going to take a good solid run. Just hit marks, stay out of trouble, and at least be there at the end to, try to get the win or top 3, and then hope that makes it in. And then it also comes down to, whether or not everybody in the top 12 actually shows up and runs the race next week. If that happens, then we're all going to be fighting for positions and points and whatnot.
Yeah, right now it looks like Christopher White is on the cutoff line. He leads in the good by 7 over Tyler King. Tyler King had a bad night tonight. Devin West did not show up tonight. Listen to this. Devin West went down from from 3rd to 10th. He lost 8 spots tonight, not showing up. He's 19 in the negative to Christopher White. And then, of course, Dennis Moore, did not show up either, as well as Ryan Bloom. Those drivers of Devin West, Dennis Moore, Ryan Bloom, they might have eliminated themselves out of the playoffs. Chris, thanks for your time, bud. I don't think I let you thank your sponsors. Please go ahead and do so, sir.
Yeah, just wanted to note, even though they're so far back outside the points there, these guys are such a threat each and every week that they show up. So I would never count them out as far as winning the race and getting themselves in. So it's definitely a possibility. But as far as sponsors, cwhitemedia.com, check it out. This year's been a great year for me, out doing photography, motorsports photography around the Northwest. Big highlights this year, shooting NASCAR Xfinity in Portland, getting to hang out with some of the NASCAR guys, teams there.
Yeah, man.
Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer, Riley Herbst, Haley Deegan, you name it. They're all there. Walking up and down pit road, it's experience like none other. I had so much fun doing that, and I'm looking forward to it next year since they are coming back to the Northwest and running Portland again. A later date next year, not June. It's going to be in August, I believe, but I'll certainly be there again. Shooting NASCAR's ARCA West. My buddy runs for Bill McAnally Racing in the number 19. He just clinched the Rookie of the Year for the West Series, so that's a big congrats to him there. Having a lot of fun.
Reach out to him. Reach out to him for me, Chris, and give me his number. I'd love to have him on my Fox Sports Radio show Finish Line Wednesday. If we could set it up with Bill McAnally, I'd love to have him on.
Certainly,
sure.
I will. I'll send him a message and see what I can do about that. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. He's getting all the seat time he can get, and he's learning a lot. And he just had a good fourth place finish. Was his best finish this season so far. He's got a few more races. They'll wrap up here in November, I believe, down in Phoenix. And but yeah, I was out at Tri-City Raceway August 10th and shooting at NASCAR ARCA Menards West Series. And Greg Biffle came out and made an appearance after 28 years. Came out and ran the track where he's won 2 track championships, and got the chance to meet him, hang out with him. He's a nice guy, and I just want to throw out a shout out to him as well because his efforts in North Carolina are like
he's
top
been on the
notch.
helicopter back and forth, man, trying to help so many people for sure. Definitely, man.
For sure. So I'm going to throw a shout out to him too. Nice guy. Appreciate everything he's doing and everybody else that's doing to help out North Carolina. But yeah, check out cwhitemedia.com. I got a lot of my stuff up there. A lot of racing, NASCAR, a lot of local late model stuff, even high limit racing. Got to hang out with Rico Abreu, Casey Kane, Brad Sweet, and all them guys too. So
that's awesome.
Having a lot of fun. Looking for a bigger year next year.
There you go. Christopher White again, 336 starts tonight at Vegas. He's got 16 wins. He's got a championship as well, 136 top 5s, 227 top 10s, and he will finish in the podium here tonight. All right, so looking at the spectrum of things moving into the final race in the round of 12, Jeff Stabnow in, Dan West Jr. in. By points, though, it would be Jeff Stabnow, Sean Breitzman, John Audenbacher, Frank Harris, believe it or not, Christopher White, Dan West Jr., Carl Burke. My apologies. I need to update this again. My bad. I was looking at the overall stats. It is Jeff Stabnow, Dan West Jr. They're in by wins. My apologies. Dan West Jr. climbed 7 spots. Paul Newton is in right now at 3rd. Roy Grande is 4th. Kevin Smith, Brett Johnson, Troy Daggett, and as we mentioned, Christopher White right now on the bubble at the number 8 spot. Guys that need to win races next week to go in to the semifinal round of 8 include Dennis Moore, Devin West, Tyler King, or Ryan Bloom. Should be a fun one tonight. Dan West Jr. joins Jeff Stabnow for the semifinals. We'll see you next week at Rockingham. Keep on praying for America. Please keep praying for those hurricane victims. God bless all of y'all that are about to be hit by Hurricane Milton down in Florida. That is a Category 5. And hopefully you've enjoyed a couple of hours of a diversion of whatever's going on in your life. For Rocket Racing Media, Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten on production. Jeremy Stanley, wherever you're at, always enjoy working with you. Miss not having you here tonight. I'm Wesley Outland. Take care. We'll see you next week at The Rock.